Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Town and Community Committee meeting. We'll get straight on with the agenda, which is item 1, apologies for absence. We received apologies
from Councillor Miller.
Yep.
That's the only apology that I know of, but I don't know if it's another apology for BMC.
anybody else. Just Sarah.
We've got 3. Obviously.
Kelly,
No, don't.
Kelly.
David.
David. Me, but you didn't today. Never mind. Okay. So on with item 2, which is declarations of interest. Does anybody have any declarations of interest for anything on the agenda today? Seeing none. Shall we move on to public participation? I assume they're all in the hall.
I didn't see anyone as I went past.
Okay.
Dave Eggleton wasn't there, right?
So we'll move on to minutes, which is to approve the minutes of the Town and Community Committee meeting held on the 19th of November 2024. Does anybody have any comments or corrections on those? I didn't.
Propose we accept them.
Okay, all those in favour? Thank you very much. Okay, item 5 is the town centre cleaning. Report is page 9 to 10. And I think it's £37. Is that the same as it was before?
It says it's an increase. I was going to ask what from.
Well, it was worded strangely. I didn't quite know, and it's not specifically itemised in our accounts. I think it's grouped under civic pride or something.
Oh no, it says
She's held it.
the rates have remained unchanged. So that could mean
It doesn't necessarily mean
Yeah.
it's not an increase.
not
So,
clear. No.
I mean, it sounds sensible. We certainly want to keep things clean. I did wonder about if there's anything they could do to clean the top of the bins with the constant stickers and just nasty things on there.
So that would be good.
Yeah, stop doing that. It looks so untidy.
It does.
They're going to be banning the disposable ones, so maybe
I don't know about that. When does that come in? In May and June?
I was just wondering, is it worth talking to them about, particularly once the ban is in, doing a proper clean on the bins rather than having to take them away,
Yeah.
paint, do whatever. If we can do it in situ, it'd be so much better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do we know if this, is this increasing the amount they're doing, but they're also making a point that they haven't changed their rates since 2021?
Well, it's an increased service level and at the same rate. So I'm guessing what they mean is the sort of pro rata it has increased. Was my sort of reading of it.
Do we know by how much?
I've got this. I have this number of 25,000 in my mind.
That's 25 to 37.
Yeah, well, we did commit to. It was an important part of our strategy and the election manifesto. I'm sure you remember.
No, I do, and I also remember that our finances were under some strain as well.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Now.
Yeah.
I also want to know if
Councillor Candler.
Didn't put his hand up.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yes, it's great that there is an opportunity to continue to focus on the cleanliness of the town centre. I think I'm just keen to understand what else their recent visit that they're quoting here highlighted. So they've mentioned chewing gum. I'm slightly surprised at that. I haven't noticed it that much, but I have noticed what somebody else has said about the bait stickers.
Yeah.
So I'm keen, is it possible to get the logger report to identify this was the highest and why they're saying this is the highest and what were the other things that they noticed as part of their recent visit? The other thing to mention in here is we've all seen overflowing bins and we've all seen stuff that has been thrown on the ground, and it always surprises me that people don't walk to the nearest empty bin. So I just wonder if this could be complemented somehow by a campaign that I think there was a local campaign over Christmas about local, and it focused on binning your cigarette butts. And that was a big Keep Britain Tidy campaign. So I just wonder, like, it's great that we are probably going to invest in cleanliness, but I think there's also a wider communications campaign as well as supporting and highlighting and profiling the really great work that Keep Britain Tidy does, because I think it's a both and approach. It's us employing contractors to come and clean the town, but also helping others to have a sense of civic pride in the place that we live in. And also, my final point is that it's good that we are also trying to reduce the amount of plastic waste in our town, which was a key element of the Keep Britain Tidy cigarette butt campaign,
Yeah.
recognising that it's waste, it's plastic, it's harmful to the environment and wildlife.
Quite agree. Do you have much direct contact with Waterless?
Not constant, no, it's kind of ad hoc. They don't tell us when they're in town necessarily, they won't run to a schedule. But they did quite a lot of kind of research into what was needed here.
Yeah.
I think I noticed actually just the other day, just along Bell Street, there's actually loads of check there around the bus stop. Isn't there?
Yeah.
People
Yeah,
drop.
sure.
So definitely, I think this is a good focus for them to get on. Yeah, it's just a constant battle to keep on top of it, basically. And I think this will be a good start. And I think that campaign was SODC and BIFA, so they did put the posters up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
great.
I think we could certainly, kind of support that with our own campaign, if you like, to pride in place and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Point is well made. I mean, things would look a lot better if it just helped us a bit. Most people do, to be fair, but there are just some that could use more guidance.
Yeah, is it possible to see the bigger report then?
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
the-
yeah, this is a kind of boiled
Yeah.
down, kind of more concise one, I think. It's interesting to note that when we've taken bins away, people do actually seem to go somewhere else and put in a different bin. 'Cause the one outside Cook I took away
Yeah.
hasn't been replaced for about a year and a half because of the scaffold, etc.
Yeah.
So people have managed in
Yeah.
certain areas. I think the ones where we know where their problems are, outside Gales is always full. But we are, eventually going to get new bigger bins, and that will help really support
Well,
the problem areas.
Councillor Hoskins.
Just in terms of the fee, was this anticipated in our budget?
I think it was to a degree because we did commit to increase the cleaning. I think, like I said, it's specifically itemised, so I'm not quite sure how much we predicted.
You beat me to it.
Oh, okay.
Is it included within this civic pride number?
It'll be in there.
So just to be clear, if we vote this through, there isn't a budget implication.
That's the issue. It looks like the difference has been accounted for. If I'm reading that correctly. Okay. So, anybody else would like to comment? Councillor Iceman.
The idea that Councillor Kandai mentioned about a campaign is perhaps worth considering at some point if we can do a campaign with the press release and perhaps some posters about bin it, don't drop it, that sort of thing. Particularly when at the point where the improved cleanliness of the marketplace, because people. If people see litter, they'll be more relaxed about dropping it. It seems to me, and so if once it improves, people may realise that they'll be more incentivised to drop it in the bin. And it shouldn't make a difference, but that is just human nature.
Yeah.
So I think we should consider that at some point, running a campaign on keeping the town centre tidy. I've got a couple of other things I want to say as well. If you're
No, I was asking Paul to turn his light off.
Oh, right.
Just go straight.
Okay. The other thing is it mentions the grouting, and again that's something else. This is a long-term issue with the grouting in the in marketplace. In that we got some very expensive quotes to fix the grouting, but it does again doesn't look so good when it's worn away, and it looks much better when it is there. And I don't know if we have any ideas about that, but it'd be good to try and think if there's something we can do at a reasonable cost to make the grouting appear
We did
better.
have some grouting done last year.
Yeah, well, the comment here is that the temporary fixes were ineffective. Is that the one? Is that the one that you mean that was done?
I think possibly previous temporary fixes,
Okay,
because they did come and do like all the kind of areas where it was blatantly clear that there was a more of an issue. They came and
Right,
they were
okay.
fixed. So
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention was, what will we do to inspect the cleaning once it's been done at each? Okay, will there be any particular key performance indicators that we'll have? Will they be inspected? Well, not so much chewing gum, just the cleanliness generally. I mean, chewing gum is sort of different. I'm happy to monitor. I mean, generally, when they finish the clean, can we either with them or without them review what the result is? Looks like.
Absolutely. I think specifically as they're going to be focusing on chewing gum, it's a good point that we
Yeah.
can follow up. I'm not going to go around every single time they clean because they're here all the time.
Right.
So
Well, certainly a regular check that's the money that we're planning to spend is going to give us value for money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so town clerk.
So just looking up, we currently pay them just over 18,000 a year.
Right.
So this would be a doubling of that.
Is it 18 plus that or included that?
Excluding that. So 18,000. So we're actually talking a 100% increase. We've only budgeted for a 50% increase.
An 80% increase. 50.
So actually,
So about 9,000 short. That will go. When will this start from? Will this impact on both this year and next year?
It's a calendar year.
So it might affect this year's budget, but certainly next year's we're going to find a way 9,000 that will need adding on, which isn't the end of the world, but.
So I think before I could vote for this, I'd have to see the schedule and make sure that for that amount of increase, we are getting a significant amount extra. Because while it sounds good, I can't see the detail.
So we could agree this in principle and take to full council recommendation that having seen, we can make a final decision once we've seen the full report.
That's fair. Because we don't really want to go over budget.
No.
Finances being what they are.
Not before the year's even begun.
Exactly.
Well, it is a key issue that we've raised over recent years, and so if it does improve, it is going to result in significant improvement. It would represent value for money. We want to be certain that
In principle, in favour of it, but we just have to watch the things at the moment. That's the only thing. Councillor Candine.
Yeah, thank you. So I just wondered if we could also see this colour coding map that they have referenced. That would be really
Yeah, they
interesting.
sort of
to see.
described it with
They
the
described it. But it'd be nice to see it. And the second point is that this isn't just going to be a one-off thing. Like, I just wonder if we're talking about chewing gum removal. People are going to continue to chew gum. So if there is a way to try to help people not leave chewing gum in places where they can't, then I'm thinking maybe the cost would be reduced. So if they try this gumball idea and it works, then maybe the chewing gum bit of it will not be an ongoing cost. So I just wonder if there are ways that we can help mitigate some of these increased costs by changing the notices or something.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yes, it has to be something cheap. We can ask Daisy for some guidance on that.
Say,
Councillor Dodds.
chewing gum, it's an absolutely filthy habit. So they chew it, they spit it on the ground and tread on it. It's disgusting. And would they do it at home? Would they do it on their carpet? Would they do it on the kitchen floor? Of course they wouldn't. And it happens outside Starbucks a lot. And you see, I mean, we have thousands of, and it is largely kids who come into this town. There's hundreds and hundreds and thousands, which is even pouring off the trains and on the buses. And it's a filthy habit. And if we could get to them and try and work on them, that it really is a disgusting and unhygienic thing to do. Just put it in a bit of paper and put it in the bin. I don't know how you do that, but it's a sort of campaign that, you know, you should just go along and talk to them and catch them at it, because it's, you know, they don't pee on the floor, or, you know, it's in that category of being pretty disgusting. So there's levels of what they will do and what they won't do.
Maybe we could articulate in the press
Yes.
the amount that this costs as taxpayers
Yeah,
every year.
yeah, and how foul it is. Passing on germs, yeah, well,
Could we liaise with,
college.
well, not just the college, but actually the train station to put a poster there? And also, when the buses stop, have a poster there.
It's more the buses, it's by Starbucks,
Definitely
isn't
the
it?
bus is a good
It's
idea.
not a problem by the train station.
Yeah.
There is by Starbucks there. It's a filthy habit. We should discourage it however we can.
It literally costs us thousands a year.
Yeah.
So, Councillor Riceman, were you threatening to propose?
I was going to propose that we agree in principle, but ask full council to approve pending the distribution of the full report.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All those in favour? Or do you want to speak?
No,
All in favour? Thank you very much. Okay, Town Centre Manager update. Thank you for this, Paul. Underline some highlights here. Vacancy rate still very low at 5% for retail. Traders keen to repeat the Christmas market. Did that include the huts? Did that work?
That is the huts, yeah.
The huts, isn't it? So the huts are going to be back next year, are they?
We haven't discussed it at the events committee yet,
Okay.
because that was delayed, so we will there and then we'll decide.
Your suspicion is we all want them back.
I think people want them back, and I think there was enough appetite for it.
Okay. And another 19,000 raised in sponsorship, which is really good as well. Councillor Dodds.
My question is, are we going to have a wash-up meeting on the Christmas festival? We usually do. And there are various things that were said to me by some of my neighbours who wandered into the festival. And I think there's things that we could do better and things that we did brilliantly. And usually wash-up meetings are very helpful. So that would be my suggestion, really. I'm sure
We
you'll
had an
find that
internal
helpful.
one, the office, parks team.
Not with the
because
councillors.
We haven't done anything. I mean, it's something we could discuss at events committee. It's an event.
I think it
So,
would be useful.
It's
I mean,
just, we
yeah.
would normally have done that meeting by now, but
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, when is that rescheduled for?
28th.
28th.
Yeah.
Is that midday?
Yes, and also the huts. I mean, I made a big point of coming in several times to look at the huts, and lots of my friends and colleagues did, and we've got views on that really.
I have had quite a few people say that it was nice but didn't feel terribly Christmassy, but it could be improved quite easily, and it's a good initiative overall.
Yes, they could have looked a bit more, as you said, a bit more Christmassy. And these craft fairs tend to be the same stuff.
We already have quite a lot of craft fairs.
Craft fairs, yeah. Whereas if you think what a German fest, which is what we're sort of trying to emulate a bit, I think food is a big draw, isn't it? And much more Christmassy feel to it somehow, I think.
The main reason I didn't go down that route is that it was trying to bring something different to the town that wasn't there. And we only had 10 huts, so there's not so much you can do. If you're Bath and you've got 200 huts, you can do all of that stuff,
Yeah.
but we aren't. So so that was the idea, artisan gifting stuff for Christmas. And I know a lot of them did pretty well. And if you're going to do food, then my feeling was you're taking away from the pavilion and you're taking away from the Argyle a little bit, and right on top of them right at Christmas, and that was the reason to kind of go to more down the arts and crafts thing. But that
Then you have
that's
chocolate
what
and
we're
that
doing.
hit the chocolate shop, you know, there's bound to be
Yeah,
crossovers.
you can't
aren't
do,
there?
I mean, it's so difficult to not upset anyone.
Exactly.
But we did our
Exactly.
best.
Yes.
But
No, it's good to try these things.
yeah,
Yeah,
but that was
I
the
agree.
reason, that was the rationale behind
Mm.
not going down the foodie thing
Mm.
too much. We did, I think Mika did some mulled wine on one day because we had a dropout, so we put it in.
Mm.
So,
Bits
I
and
think
pieces
the
you
big
don't
one
notice the
was
whole.
to do with walking along the back behind the huts. It was far too narrow, and also the gaps between them could have been room to get through, but it kind of wasn't.
I was going to say, with regard to the food and stuff like that, that's when you can sort of start speaking to the farmers market, because then they've got the opportunity to come in and do the bits that they want to try and do, because that's really what you sort of expect to see to augment the other
Mm.
arts and crafts in there,
Mm.
is to put the local people in there. But it's for next time. I thought it was pretty good.
to be discussed.
Councillor Canberra?
Yes, so I'm very sorry I was not able to come and see the hut at all because I was in a plaster cast. However, I did make arrangements to be there for the big Christmas light switch on. I arranged a wheelchair. I had family members push me along, and yes, it was very atmospheric. It was incredibly crowded, and I must admit, I felt pretty vulnerable in a wheelchair. And it was, yeah, so I think having had the experience of being in a wheelchair and being in the midst of the crowd, I do have some suggestions as to how to make it more a safer place for people who are a bit more vulnerable. And I mean, it was amazing. I don't know if you expected the level of turnout that you did have, or whether there was any potential crowd control measures happening. But I mean, it did feel very atmospheric, but I did feel very vulnerable, and there was no safe escape plan.
It was certainly
For
busier
me.
than last year.
The weather was really mild.
The weather was mild, so
Yeah.
that's a bit more.
The last couple of years, we've had it be freezing cold, pouring rain. But
The
it was
words got
really good
round as well,
conditions this
I
time.
think,
Yeah.
about that it had that it is.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
I had a good walk around a couple of times. I went everywhere, and there were some really dodgy pinch points where it was very crowded.
The biggest one was just when everything finished and everybody poured down Marketplace, down the street, and you just had to hope that you were able to get by.
If you had
It was a
kids,
different way.
little
Yeah.
ones, prams, different.
Yeah, I felt very aware
I've
of
had that
prams
said
and
to me as well.
buggies. So I'm just wondering, I think in the past there has been like a poll that has happened on some, maybe the Henley Herald or the Henley Standard, say, what do you think of the Christmas fair? And I just wondered if there was plans to kind of gauge a bit more of the Henley community for feedback, both, what went really well, what did they enjoy about it, and what are some of the areas that they would suggest to
Yeah, I wasn't
change.
planning to, particularly. And we have got plans to move the stage, which will make a big difference.
Back in front of the town hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot about that already. And I think that alone will make a huge difference to the flow in the marketplace. I personally also would put in less stalls.
On the
I think
Marketplace,
there's too many
yeah.
stalls.
Yeah.
That's my personal view.
Certainly around the crossing,
In certain
to
places, yeah.
widen those corners.
I had people saying they didn't like the tacky rides, really.
No.
That we, do we really need all that half, have some of the stalls there instead of those very tacky, not Henley rides, if you like, have it more of
Kids
a.
love it though.
Do they?
Kids
Yeah,
love it, yeah.
the kids are all
Yeah,
over
yeah.
it. I mean,
It's huge. It's, it is actually busy down there.
it's very busy.
I know, and it
Depends what
was
you're
too
looking for.
busy, as again, it was a bit too busy down there as
It
well.
depends where you're at and what you're looking for that night.
Councillor Rice.
I think we run the risk of throwing out a bit of baby with bathwater. It was a great event, and it was almost a victim of its own success because it was so popular. The event was great; it had a good atmosphere. I did go down there and walk around, and I had to walk around quite slowly. And there could have been a bit more room, but it was great, if people turn out and stayed there, which clearly they did because it was cool, busy, right into the later hours of the event, then that's great. And yes, to some extent, we try things out. The stage is on the side this time, put it somewhere else. We have fewer or spread the stalls out. And yeah, no one's going to like all the stalls and rides, Jill. You know, so you
I
know,
won't totally get
you're no longer 8, so it wasn't targeted at you, the ride. So the kids were enjoying it, and it was a great event, and it was good to see it turn out so successfully.
Yeah, I walked down, I went to see the church, I took the photo from the top of the church,
Oh, brilliant.
and walked past, and every single hospitality venue, which is a restaurant or pub, packed.
Yes.
And I think that's what we're trying to achieve, late night shopping. And then,
You did very well.
And there's a picture that was, I think, from the town hall, top of the town hall, which which was absolutely great. You could see it was a wonderful picture, and you know, I think
They must be very grateful
They'd be nitpicking on
for
that.
us doing that, really,
Yeah.
because as you say.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you had to book that
Oh, yeah.
night, yeah.
even the restaurants, I think, and the people were packed.
It's the balance though of the restaurants and the shops. Because if people aren't getting to the shops, that's when they start to kick off and go, hold on a second, this is meant to be late night shopping, not late night drinking.
Yeah.
Which I have no issue with, by the way.
I think with that many people, there's probably
Just as an FYI.
There's
Okay,
more
so
water.
I'm going to move on now to item 7, which is finance, to consider the management accounts.
Good news about Cook, by the way.
Yes,
We're all
we
very
would go
pleased
on
about
to
that.
next.
Yes,
good,
it's looking good. Mm.
Is it good news or is it just going to be a smaller?
No, no, it's actually
I know what it
fine.
is,
It's a smaller
Yeah.
shop, but they're happy with it.
Okay.
It's better.
It works better for them.
It's nice for the place not to look so empty.
They've got offers on that. I think there's only 2 that haven't got offers on.
Oh, good,
So that's good.
good, good.
Yeah, sorry to go back, Glenn, but just on the bus working group, you say progress is being made, but where have we got to on that?
On the bus working group.
Yeah, you mentioned in your
Yeah,
report.
it's, this is the extension.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
the extension goes from 3 to 5 days,
Yeah, that's
presumably,
right.
and the electric bus.
The electric bus, yeah, exactly. So Stefan's obviously driving that bus, not literally. But, and I think there's a proposed launch date in either in March,
Right.
March, April. So
Yeah,
that's what
that's what I was wondering.
heading
Really, yeah.
towards, yeah.
Great.
They
So,
have to get permissions.
yeah, they have to do a
For the
3-month
routes and
permission things with government, et cetera, et cetera. And then when Daisy is back, fully working, we're going to sit down and look at marketing and that kind of stuff for a launch.
Well, I know I'm jumping ahead slightly, but the bus service is clearly well up on last year, and so I don't know what you attribute that to, whether it's just people hearing about the potential extension,
I
whether
think
people
so.
are already starting to use it more
Yeah.
because it's in the news.
Yeah.
But we'd certainly like to publicise it when it
We
does
have a
come.
good opportunity to try and shift perception of what that bus service
Yeah.
is. Because most younger people think it's an old person's bus service, which is not.
Yeah.
And so you have that opportunity, yeah.
We had, if you remember, we had
Can
some
move to finance?
discussion
Yeah, side.
of whether to put the price up, £2 or £2.50, and it was split, wasn't it? And Stefan was going to look at how much more we would get if we put
Yes.
50p on.
He's asked for
Because
that.
my case is the cheaper you can keep it, the more people are going to use it.
But it
And
does have
others
to
had
cover
other
this.
points,
Yes.
other
We're
viewpoints.
putting a lot of money into that bus service.
Yes, we're already subsidising enormously. And we've
Exactly.
also opted to spend a substantial amount now to make it electric. So again, it's all money we have to find.
So he was going to look at the figures, wasn't he?
Does anyone actually have any comments on the finance?
No?
Oh,
Councillor Gambaro?
yes, I hadn't noticed these bar graphs before, but I like the bar graphs.
Yeah.
That show the difference between blue 2023, 22, and 2024 and 2025. Just wondered if there was any kind of interpretation to some of these months. So December it was slightly down, but every other month was increased. Like October, absolutely amazing. Do we know what has caused? Is there a possible to have like a bit of a narrative next to this that explains what happened in the autumn that made?
Well, it's the whole year,
go up?
isn't it?
It's the whole year, apart from December. That's the one month that didn't go up higher.
November.
People did all their shopping
It's close, yeah.
in advance.
sensible
But if this
policy.
is market input, this is the market square market stalls, right?
The bottom one is, yeah. Sorry,
So, no,
sorry, I
just
thought you were
wondered if-
talking about the bus.
So did I, actually.
Really confused.
Oh, I thought you said, have you got any questions about the figures?
Ah.
And this is the figures.
Sorry, I thought you were on the
question.
top line there, sorry.
No, I'm on the bottom line.
Yeah, I
Bottom
thought
line
so
is
too.
Very, very encouraging.
Well, we did an extra market, so, and, you know, I don't know, maybe people started Christmas shopping earlier in October.
Weather.
Yeah,
Yeah, could be
a very
Half term, that sort of thing.
successful Christmas festival in November, May, so that figures being up, so it's, we're doing a good job. How about that?
Yeah, no, it's
Looks like
really
Well
encouraging.
done, well done.
The
Is
likelihood
this-
is
is
that
this
if-
Income is increasing.
Or is it
Yeah, it says
revenue?
income there.
Market income. Weekly
I think that's 10,000 less than last year.
No, it's not revenue, it's our income from the, it's not the revenue from the market.
This one,
It's our
Very positive.
Any other comments on the finances? Okay, so we just need some creative ideas about how to fix the 9K black hole report from council.
Just on that, what I would suggest, just while you were looking at it, there is a chewing gum task force. And South Oxfordshire or Oxford, South Oxfordshire as a council should be able to apply for it. I'll send you the details here, keep written tidy, but eligible local authorities can apply for grants of up to 27,500 to tackle gum litter and transform their streets. So potentially we could,
Okay.
That would do it.
try and get some.
Do they have suggestions?
They have a
How to-
webinar on the 5th of February. Applications open on the 3rd of February, closing the 20th of March. And we will host a webinar on 5th of February to give you more application details and the application process and tips. So I'll send that to Glenn.
And Paul.
As King of,
Yeah,
yeah,
to me, yeah. that'd be good.
as King of Henley
Cheers, thank you.
and Council.
Okay, so
Graffiti.
item 8 is progress. Is graffiti works due to start in February?
It's disappointing this close, they don't have a full date, a firm date.
Well, it's been about 3 years or 4.
Feels exactly rushing.
Doesn't fill you with confidence that it's finally going to happen, but it's nice to see there's a month at least being assigned to it. Yeah. Yes, possibly this year.
You can't miss a target unless you have one.
Oh, yeah. But, I think Douglas Adams had something to say about that sort of thing.
Okay, so missing bollards, this has been on progress forever, nothing's happened. We're at 2022, and now we're in 2025 to fix 2 bollards. What is going on?
There's probably more bollards now as well.
Sorry?
There's probably more bollards missing as well now because the one at the Angel
Yeah.
got hit. And the one at Thameside, with a car crashed into it. And so there's quite a few.
There's also one on the corner of Badgemore Lane and Northfield End.
That's been fixed.
Oh, has it?
Has
Fixed
it?
last week.
Oh, it's fixed last
Alright.
week, excellent.
Yes,
So that one could be fixed quite quickly then.
yeah.
But that one wasn't on premise.
Another one fixed as well. There's
Why
one-
is it only the ones we're watching?
There was one on Grays Road as you come out the car park, they've been put back in.
Yeah.
And I got that one fixed.
Oh, well done.
I'm really pleased about that.
So these 2 at Thameside South.
Well, I've just negated that, there's 2 of these 2.
I think we got
Who
one more.
who is responsible for putting the new bollards in?
Looks like it's OCC.
No, I think it's OCC, yes.
So should we actually,
Can we chase them again?
yeah,
The marketplace bar, is that, that's obviously,
That's been patched over but not replaced, it's on the works sheet.
okay. And then the bins. Back to manufacturer yet again because the paint came off. Is that what
It's still
happened?
blistering.
Still blistering.
Sorry, what was that?
The replacement double and treble bins have been back 4 times because the paint bubbles when it gets wet. Blisters.
These are strictly indoor bins, it seems.
Extensive testing. The MD, unfortunately, is at his wit's end to know what's going on. And then he said the only thing he could do is try another treatment, on this last time and see where that gets us. So, and then if, I presume if we can't, if it doesn't work again, then we're going to have to change suppliers and look at a different supplier.
I think after 74 times already entitled to do that.
Was the refurbishment of the existing bins, was this a previous councillor's decision? Was this part of a previous
It was.
challenge? So potentially we just need to look at new bins because obviously
These are new bins.
they're brand new bins?
Brand new, yeah.
Okay, so they're not the old bins that have been
No.
refurbished?
No,
That was.
No, we've moved on from that one.
no, we scrapped that project.
So,
It
what-
didn't work.
Were the old bins that were refurbished, although they were smaller, did the paint stay on it?
It didn't really work out, did it?
All right, that's all. That's all. I don't want to bring it back up again. I'm just wondering, is it actually the bin itself that is causing the issue?
It may be.
Councillor Kandaya, then Hoskins.
Yeah, so I think it could be helpful to clarify, is it getting wet because of the weather, or is it getting wet because it's being spray cleaned? Like, what's the reason for it getting
They haven't been,
wet?
Put-
Is it?
it's sitting in the rain in the parks department,
Okay,
as they would be in the rain in the marketplace.
okay, so
So
it's
we
not
could
because of
take-
any
we-
cleaning that is
no,
happening?
We take
that is-
delivery of them,
Right,
unwrap them, cross our fingers and hope they're going to be perfect. It pours with rain and they're not. So they go back. And we've done that 4 times now. So it's a problem with the manufacturer. It's a problem with the paint. Something's not.
Yeah.
All I know,
Yeah, no, I just
I've
thought it
looked
was
into it a little
something
bit,
else.
speaking to the MD. He said that the paint companies are under pressure to take the lead out of the paint,
Yeah.
which means
Yeah.
it doesn't work properly. And that this may be an issue caused by something like that. So, they want to make it more kind of friendly, but there is a downside.
What are the bins made of?
These are carbon fibre. The big ones.
Okay. Councillor Jones.
Could Councillor Riseman fill in the gap on Townland?
We need to review where we've got to as a result of the county council's decision that closing the beds was the right thing to do. The report was disappointing in the superficial way it examined it and presented little in the way of useful information, and was essentially content free, in my opinion. We need to decide what our next steps are, and are discussing that with Councillor Glenshap. We'll probably call another meeting of the town steering group. But having the beds have now been closed for over a year, the county council and the integrated care board are resistant at all points to the arguments that we've made, even though we have, with the help of the Henley Standard, I think convincingly won the arguments. The battle to partly to restore the beds, but perhaps more importantly to make sure that the people who would normally need those beds, who needed step down care, are receiving the care that they need. And we still haven't got that information. So how we secure that and how we continue to chase on that is our next step. What that should be, I don't know. So we need to go back and consider our options.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I can't be more
No, it's all right.
optimistic or helpful. It's been a disappointing engagement exercise with the Integrated Care Board and the County Council, despite the huge amount of efforts that Councillor Gabishak in particular has made at the County Council to get them to explain and justify the decisions they've made about the closure of these step down beds. I mean, the good news was that we did our concerns over the services at Townlands Hospital have not been. They have reassured us, and we are satisfied that the services there are going to be at least staying the same, or even more likely improved. So there was some positive news, but I'm still not convinced that. I think we all know about the NHS and the shortage of beds and the difficulty that's causing, and it just seems surprising to me that we've not been able to convince them that these beds were needed.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Buckley, then come back.
I think you were first. I was just going to say, I appreciated your letter in the Henley Standard to the doctor from Sonning, who called out that if these beds still existed, his wife would have been fine. After spending the last year or two saying that they didn't need them.
Yes,
Some rank hypocrisy going on there.
yes. Well, I think the Townlands and the NHS generally is something that the vast majority of people have sensible views on. You know, we are short of beds. The NHS does have problems. It does very well in lots of ways, but it does have problems. And the efforts that and the campaigns and so on that we've had over many years are very different, of different types, including keeping the hospital open in the first place. Have been successful and have the virtual universal support of the community. And yes, there was one rather inconsistent member of the public who doesn't even live in Henley anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think his views are particularly helpful, and I did right to tell him so.
Thank you. It was regarding the ATM. So great that we have a contract with the landlord. And is the ATM just over
at the
here
back here,
somewhere?
yeah.
Do we have like a date for when they're likely to install
When the
them?
contract is done, we'll be
Okay,
able to progress the next step, which is
okay,
installing the electric, installing the
Yeah.
light bulb, well, removing the planter. So
Yeah.
it's a few months off.
okay. Are we hoping for this to be done before the really busy, super busy summer?
Depends how quick the lawyer is.
Okay.
They're often
That's worrying, isn't it?
contracts. Solicitors tend to take time, you know, it's like when you sell a house, it takes forever. So,
Legal process and speed don't always go together.
no. So all I can say is it's with the lawyers.
As the son of a solicitor, that kind of thing helps keep the likes of me fed.
Sorry, and a follow-up question.
You didn't declare an interest.
Yeah. I'm not sure where we got to with the banking hub conversation. Did we have?
They've reviewed it and there's still no, they don't see a
When you say
requirement.
they, sorry, who's the they?
The cash access.
Cash
UK.
access UK.
Because we've still got a
Still
branch
a bank.
of the Nationwide still open with an
Really?
ATM. Nationwide, yeah.
Oh, it is, okay, right, I'm trying to go.
And there's,
They did another review very recently.
Okay, okay,
and the Nationwide have committed to being open for the next 4 years,
As long as that, right?
okay.
2027, or 2028.
27.
27, yeah, 3 years.
It's only 3 years now.
By the
We
time we
should
get
try to
into
look
it.
at the positive side of that. They are actually staying open.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, we're very lucky at Nationwide. I mean, they're very good, and I bank with them.
That is quite, that's, sorry.
I was going to say, they did put an application forward to put an ATM facing outwards. But
which
it was
was
rejected by planning because they were intended to essentially destroy the facade of the building.
Yeah, if we can get this one in Garden Place, that would be very helpful. So it's great that that is progressing, even if slowly against the slow wheels of the legal
At the other
system.
end of town, you can use the post office, which is easy to get money out of. Yeah, which I do, because that's nearer.
I mean, there are cash points at
And
Tesco.
they've run out of money, like
Yeah.
the one at Sainsbury's might run out of money.
And there's one at the
Post
top
office
shops as well.
doesn't run out of money.
Yeah, the one-stop shop has one as well.
Yeah,
So that they are around,
They
they're
are
just
around.
not as convenient as they used to be.
absolutely.
I know.
I remember when the one went in at Sainsbury's, we opposed it because it said that we'd already got far too many cash points.
Really?
Yeah, it was felt not to be the right place or the right look, and
Gosh.
how wrong we were.
I'm glad we were overruled on that one.
Yeah.
Any further comments on progress? See none? Okay,
There was, just to say, I'm just in touch with the MP regarding Marshall Lock Footbridge.
right.
I will update on that after a meeting that I'm due to have with him soon.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, meeting closed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
There's also a petition online from